Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we'll be taking a look at a full room tour, finally bringing you guys an updated collection video. For the most part, this will be a full room tour. We'll be taking a look at my Marvel Legends Black Series, a few Funko Pops, and a couple of DC McFarlane figures also. I do have a couple pops around and a few other things that I probably won't be showing off in this video. But like I said, we will be taking a look at my full Star Wars The Black Series and Marvel Legend collection. I do have 3 bookcases and 4 glass cabinet displays. So we'll start off with the Marvel Legends and we'll sort of transition through. Some will cross over as we go, as you guys will see. But we'll get into it and we'll start off with the Marvel Legends here. So starting off at the top of the first bookcase, we do have just some cinema cups from some of the most recent movies that I have seen there. Moving down, we do have my full Marvel Legends DVD collection. I'm only missing the most recent Thor movie, but for the most part, I do have them all there, and I believe they are all in chronological order. Just some Funko Pops around, and the Black Widow figures. Behind her, I do have my Spider-Man movies, which is the Tobey and Andrew movies, the Into the Spider-Verse animated, the Venom movie, and also a steelbook of No Way Home. And finally getting into the Marvel Legends collection here, starting off with the Thor wave. I really liked how this wave did turn out. I like the way I have all of these ones displayed. Over the right hand side, I just have some Funkos sitting there at the moment. But with that half, I will end up filling with the Guardians figures when we find out what we're getting from that wave when that does come out with the 3rd movie. And moving down to the next shelf, we do have my Black Panther display. This one sort of transitions from the 1st to the 2nd movie, as you guys can see. I do need to get a few more characters to finish filling out this display, but for the most part, I'm really happy with how this shelf is coming along. I really like the figures and the characters from these movies, so I'm really keen to get those few extra characters that I am needing. And as you can see, I just need to complete that Build-A-Figure also, and I'll be able to have him displayed in the back there. And moving down, this one is probably one of my more favorite shelves, the Spider-Man sort of transitioning into the Doctor Strange display. Again, just a lot of great characters here. I finally picked up that Ned and Peter Parker 2-pack. As you can see, those two displayed there. Front and center, the Final Battle upgraded suit. A few other Spideys around, the Doctor Strange from that movie. Getting into the Doctor Strange figures here, I really like that Defender Strange with the portal in the background, and all the other characters there looking really good also. Unfortunately, here in Australia, we don't have Hasbro Pulse, so I wasn't able to pre-order the 3 Spider-Man Marvel Legends set. So I'm not too sure yet what I will do when that does come around. I might have to look at the SH Figure Art versions, but we'll just have to see as time goes on. And the next shelf down is the What If display. I wasn't overly sure if I wanted to pick up these characters when they were first released, but I just had a feeling they would eventually release a Infinity Ultron, and I knew I would want that figure. And here we are, they eventually have, so I'm really glad I got those figures at the time. And I do really like all of them. It's cool having a unique version of these characters on the display. So I can't wait to get the new wave of characters to finish filling out this display, and of course finish that Infinity Ultron. And the final shelf on the first bookcase here, we do just have a few other Marvel movies, a couple other Marvel Legends like the Cable there. That is just the additional Wolverine, as I do have 2, one that came with the Hulk in the 80th pack, and then I believe the 3-pack with the X-Men characters also. Just another pop there, and also some of my DC TV series. And moving on to the next shelf here, this one is a bit of a mix. We do just have some Black Series mixed in with the Marvel Legends, and then I have a couple more Marvel Legends to show, and then we'll get into the Black Series. I do also have a few of my McFarlane DC figures on the bottom of this shelf, and a couple DC movies, so I'll show that off also. But starting off on the left, we do have some Black Series, so I believe they're the Galaxy's Edge characters in the packaging in the back. I've contemplated opening that Hondo a few times. If I do, I'll chuck him in the Rebels display. But at the moment, I do just quite like him there in the packaging. In front of him, we do have the gaming grade Zelbar and also the Archive Revan, a pop of Mando, and also the Ahsoka and Maul in the TBC. 2 gaming grade troopers from the Force Unleashed. I picked those ones up recently if you guys have been following the channel. And getting back into the Marvel Legends here, we do have the Disney Plus characters. I really like this shelf and how everything is displayed here, and I can't wait to get the other figures to finish filling this one out also. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a few characters I am behind on, so I do still need to catch up on a few figures, but as you can see, I'm missing the Moon Knights, the Hawkeye, Sharon Carter, and of course the Khonshu Build-A-Figure, which I'm really keen to get, and he'll fit nicely in the back there. I gave the shield that came with the zombie Captain America to the US agent here, just because it sort of fit with that scene, of course. And for the most part, everything's sort of displayed from left to right in the first sort of series to the most recent Disney Plus show. Some might change around as I do add these new characters, but for the most part, I think I've left enough spacing to fit everything in nicely in the display there. So that's the Disney Plus shelf there. Moving down, we get into some of these Spider-Man characters. This is the PlayStation Universe setup over the side. Those new villains in the back from the first game. A bit of controversy around that new release, but personally, I'm going to pick that one up. Because of course, without having the figures in hand, it does look like it will be a definitive version compared to the previous release. And yes, it shouldn't justify a current price release, but with the aftermarket price on the original one, the current price for the newer, better version, honestly, I'm happy to pick that one up. And then of course the Into the Spider-Verse characters, again another display that I cannot wait to get the new figures that will come out this year with the new movie. That one will really help enhance and fill out this display also. And then on the side there I just have some iconic moments from Endgame, as you guys can see. Moving down, we sort of transition, starting to do some Black Series figures. Like I mentioned, there is a few more Marvel Legends on the way, so stay tuned and you'll see those throughout. But on the left, we just have some comics here. And then with the Black Series, this is a bit of a pre-A New Hope and A New Hope display. This is all I really do have so far, but I do intend on filling this out. And moving down the shelf, we do have my DC Universe movies. I do have all the connected movies in the DVDs and majority of them in the digibooks and the steelbooks there. On this shelf, I also do have the standalone Joker movie and the Dark Knight trilogy set. I believe that's a Mafex Joker, correct me if I'm wrong. I really like that one, it's a really cool version, so I'm glad to have that one on the shelf there. It came with a couple of nice accessories, and just overall, it's a nice looking sculpt of a figure. And on the side, back to Marvel Legends here, we do have the Venom from the first Venom movie, and also the deluxe release of the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming. And moving down to the bottom of the second shelf, we do have some Batman animated movies here, and also a Batman comic there. Transitioning over, we do have my Arkham sort of universe setup, with the games of course, and the connected movie. That statue came with the Arkham Knight video game. And then we do get into the McFarlane figures from this universe. This Batman, I believe, is an old DC Collectibles version. Unfortunately, one of the earpieces is broken off. He did take a shelf dive a while back, so we'll be looking to upgrade that one. I do like the overall body sculpt on this one, so I might just have to compare it to one of the DC McFarlanes when I do eventually pick one of those up, and I might have to head swap this one. And then that Joker and the Killer Croc there in the back, just two really awesome figures also. Like I said, can't wait to get more McFarlane figures from this universe to fill out this display. Moving on to two of the glass cabinets. After this one, we do have another two glass cabinet displays and one more bookcase. One of them has Marvel Legends and the other one has Black Series, that being the helmets and the 10-inch figures. So starting off at the top here, we do have the Marvel Legends replica shield from the Falcon and Winter Soldier, just a Thanos pop and a gauntlet, and also a hand-painted Thanos statue. Moving across, we do have like a Spider-Man pop, some unopened Marvel Legends in the back, a Captain America statue there, and two more little Marvel characters on the side. So that's what's on top of the first two glass cabinets. We'll get into the first one and finish off this Marvel Legends collection. These first two shelves are diorama pieces that I've made. I really like the way these ones have turned out. The first shelf here is a Endgame display with the exclusive Thor there, and then the single releases of the Iron Man and Captain America also. I'd like to do some more dioramas through the display. I just ideally like to make certain scenes or something like that to really enhance the figures. So I'm really happy with that. I think that diorama display has turned out really well there. And moving down the shelf, we do get into my second display. The idea of this display is basically the Battle of Wakanda. This one's broken up into three sort of sections, as you can see. Basically having the Thor entrance scene. I'm just missing a rocket to fill out that display. Black Panther and Captain America there, and then Thanos in the back. I do have videos for both those dioramas and how I made them on the channel. So if you do want to find out more about how I made those, go and check those ones out. The third shelf down, and this is one that I really do like. This is my version of sort of a comic book Avengers mix-up. All of these being the 80th anniversary releases, I believe they were. And then of course the Deluxe War Machine and that most recent Spider-Man there. So like I was saying, this is just my sort of version of a Avengers comic display. That Thor, I do have a soft goods cape on, which really enhances that figure. The Hulk in the background. And then of course the Iron Man and Captain America there. We do have the X-Men characters there on the side. I have thought about picking up the Falcon and also the Scarlet Witch and the Vision, but the next one I think I'll be adding will be the Black Panther comic version from the new Black Panther wave. And the bottom shelf of the first glass display cabinet, this is finishing off the Marvel Legends here. This one is a full Iron Man display. This one only has two Marvel Legends in it, one statue and two other branded figures. In the back, I believe that is a Reveltech Iron Man on the left. That one's pretty cool, just a bit of a different, unique version for the display. And then we have the anniversary release of the Mark III Iron Man armor. I believe that's a Iron Studios Endgame Iron Man statue. The 10-year anniversary release of the first Avengers Iron Man. And then the import Iron Man in the back there. I'm just blanking at the moment on the company that's released that one, but that is a import version. Moving on to the second glass cabinet display and getting into the Black Series figures. Starting off with the two replica helmets, being the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett. Moving down into the display, we do have the two 10-inch Hyper-Real Black Series figures. These are both Empire figures, starting off with the Luke Skywalker, and then also the Vader in the bottom shelf there. These two are really cool figures. I really like the sort of pinless design as it is all hidden. I do have a video posing up the Vader on the channel, so go and check that out if you're interested. They do come with multiple hand options, and the Luke has an interchangeable head. So for what they were, I thought they were pretty cool, but they didn't release any more after these two, unfortunately. And now moving into the Black Series, we have one last bookcase and two glass cabinets, all full of Black Series figures. Starting off at the top, we do have my carded collection of the Clone Wars figures, just some pops there. Moving down into my DVD collection of the Star Wars films, I do believe I have everything that is out and in chronological order, except for, of course, the Disney Plus stuff. All the films are in steelbooks, and they all have their own unique print on there, so they're really cool, as you can see there. And I do also have two of the 3 3/4 Ahsokas. One is the Season 7 appearance, and also the deluxe version from The Mandalorian. We do have a Boba Fett pop, and also a carded version of the George Lucas Stormtrooper. I do have one out of the packaging with the helmet on, just in the collection also. Moving into the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett display, this one does take up 2 shelves here. As you guys know, there's a lot of characters released from this series. For the most part, it sort of runs in chronological order from Season 1 into Season 2. There is the odd character that I've intentionally sort of put out of place, but I'm sure there is one or two that I've put in the wrong spot unintentionally also. But I'm sure you guys will notice those as we go through. I really like that Scout speeder bike in the back. A really cool standout feature in the display. The Mando there up front currently doesn't have a cape, as I was looking at making a soft goods one for him, but I'm not too sure yet. I might end up just buying a custom one. A few of the bounty hunters in the back there, and a few of the other Mandalorians, and I do have the client there with one of the Remnant troopers behind him. I would like to get a second one at some stage, just one of those characters that I haven't got around to getting a multiple figure of yet. And making our way down the shelf, we start to transition into some of the Season 2 characters here. I really like the way this shelf has turned out, and again, just with the amount of characters released, it does fill out the shelf quite nicely. The Cobb Vanth there, such a great looking figure. Moving into the back with the deluxe Snowy Mando. I just have those ones on a little stand just to rise that in the back there a little. The Ahsoka there, such an awesome figure. Really keen for her series and to see what they do with those other characters, potentially getting updated versions, of course, of the Rebel crew. But again, we'll just have to wait and see how that series does come along. I am behind on a few of the most recent releases, so I'm sure you guys will notice which ones those are throughout the entire collection as we go along. Transitioning into the later end of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, as you can see with the armored and unarmored Boba Fett there. And also on the right hand side in the back, we do have the 2 Dark Troopers there. Really cool. I do have one with the fist hands in and the other with the gun out. And then sort of transitioning into the Book of Boba Fett, we do have the Fennec Shan and that Boba Fett there. I just have the effect piece that came with the deluxe Return of the Jedi Boba Fett figure. Of course, being the same sculpt, that one just ports straight into this figure also. And I think that looks really cool there. Moving down a shelf, we do get into the Bad Batch squad. The way a lot of the displays are set up, they don't overly follow a chronological order, but each display is set up as its own unique movie or series. Starting off on the left, we do have the Rex from this series, transitioning into the Bad Batch squad themselves, and then the other half filled with the Imperial characters, with Rampart there. I really like the Shock Troopers, they're really cool. I did pick up a second one and remove the Pauldron, just to sort of get a bit of a squad happening. I wouldn't mind getting more of those, as they can also fit nicely in the Revenge of the Sith display. And moving down a shelf, we do get into the connected gaming universe, being the Jedi Fallen Order / Jedi Survivor. I really like the way this display looks also, and can't wait to fill this one out a bit more. Following the same theme, this one sort of transitions from the first game into the second game on the left to the right. Just a lot of great and unique trooper designs, so that's really cool, and I really hope we get more Inquisitors with the second game. I also can't wait to get the Jedi Survivor cowl, and also, as you guys can see, the few other figures that I'm missing from this display. That security droid in the back was standing pretty well for the most part on his own. I've just put the display stand there just to make it a bit easier to hold the character. And moving to the final shelf in this bookcase here, after this we only have 2 glass cabinet displays. This one has 3 DC McFarlane characters, and also my CW DC universe. I have pretty much all the movies, I'm just missing some of the most recent ones. And also the animated DC universe movies. I think I'm only missing a few out of this universe also. And for the DC McFarlane figures, I do have the Arrowverse Green Arrow. That's just a comic Flash and a comic Superman, but they look pretty cool up the front there. And now moving into the final two glass cabinet displays that hold the Black Series collection here. I really like the way a lot of this has been displayed, so you guys can let me know what you think below. Starting off at the top here, we do have some of my carded figures. You guys that follow along with the channel know that I do keep a few figures carded. No real in particular reason, sometimes I do end up opening them at a later stage, but I do quite like the look of the way this all is up here. In front of those figures, we do have a Luke and a Mando pop, both holding Grogu, and also the 3 3/4 inch Vader in his chamber. Really cool figure, one of the only older 3 3/4 figures that I still have to this day. So that looks really cool up the top there. Going across, we do have the couple of figures I do have from the sequel trilogy. A Anakin and a Vader pop, and also a Grogu in the back there. Making our way down into the first display case, at the top here we do have my Clone Wars collection. Like mentioned earlier, there is a few figures missing from this display, but I really like the way this one is coming along. It is starting to fill up like some of these displays that you will see in these cases, so I may have to start expanding some of them into the bookcases, but for the most part it's all sitting pretty well. Season 7 Ahsoka and Maul up front. That Maul, such an epic figure, and of course the Anakin, Obi-Wan and Echo behind, and that Cad Bane on the side, also a really awesome figure. And moving down a shelf, we do get into the Obi-Wan Kenobi series display. This shelf is another one I'm really happy with how it's coming along. All the Inquisitors around with the Kenobi up front, and then the Obi-Wan and Vader dueling as the centerpiece. I do also have the Rogue One trooper in there. I just thought that one fit pretty well with this display, and just another trooper in there also. Again, just another shelf that I'm really happy with how this display has come out. I'm looking forward to the upcoming Kenobi figure. Be really cool to get that one in the display here. I do hope that they eventually do that sort of mythos look that he had from the end of the season. So that is the Obi-Wan Kenobi display. Moving down a shelf, we do get into the Rebel squad. Starting off on the left-hand side, we do have Ahsoka from the Rebel series. Still, in my opinion, a great Ahsoka figure. I really like the way that one looks standing there. Moving over into the Rebel squad themselves, Kanan front and center. Again, just a great looking figure. I think the whole crew here has all turned out really well, so I like the way they all do look standing there. Chopper there on the side, Sabine. Moving around to Zeb in the back, Hera and Ezra. Like I said, all just looking really good there. And then of course, Grand Admiral Thrawn up the front, looking really great also. Moving our way down to the bottom shelf, we do have a Empire display. This one's pretty much all the heroes except for Dengar in the back there. I think this display works well being on the bottom shelf, just of course with the white base, matching the snowy theme for the Hoth characters. Looking really good, the Hoth Rebel soldiers. As you can see, it kind of transitions from the start of the movie to the end of the movie, left to right. As you guys can see, a running theme through the collection. And that deluxe Luke in the back there, such an awesome figure. And that is the Empire display. Again, another shelf I'm really happy with. Moving up to the top of the final display case here, we do have the Return of the Jedi display. Starting up in the back, we do have the deluxe Boba Fett, looking really good there. Moving down to the front of the display, we do have one of the Ewoks with Lando behind him. The Endor appearance of Luke, Han and Leia, all looking really good there. The two characters I have so far to fill out the Jabba's Palace sort of display. And then front and center, the Emperor himself and Darth Vader. Again, just another display I'm really liking. More characters are coming along to fill out that one, so I'm really keen for that. And unfortunately, it seems like we're not going to get a new Jabba, which seems like a bit of a missed opportunity this year. But I guess unfortunately, that's just the case for this one. Moving down a shelf, we do get into Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Up in the back, we do have General Grievous looking really good there. I do just have the clone commanders just sort of flanking in the back corners of the display. Finally getting some much needed troopers with the 501st and the 212th. Both looking really good there. I really like these updated 212 troopers, especially to go along with Commander Cody there. And then I have the Anakin, Obi-Wan and Mace Windu all up the front there. Again, another display that I feel needs a lot more characters added into it, and of course some updates to some existing ones in there also. But overall, I'm happy with how this one is looking, and that Mace Windu is another great figure there. And moving down into the second last shelf, another shelf I'm really happy with how this one is looking. This one is Attack of the Clones. A lot of great characters in this display, some characters that do of course need an update, but I really like the way the Jedi are all looking in this one. At a later stage when they do start to fill out, like I said, I might end up looking at moving them into a bookcase. If and when I eventually do that, I might end up looking at separating the display a bit more, putting the clone troopers into their own sort of area. We'll just have to wait and see as we get more figures. That Dooku there, another great figure. We really do need some more separatists within the display. And that Django is another great looking figure, but another one that does need an update. And moving our way into the final display here, the bottom shelf, we do have a bit of a Maul / Phantom Menace display. I do need a young Obi-Wan to go along with that Qui-Gon, so at the moment I still just have him carded. But both of those Mauls looking really great there. Really cool getting that version with the comic book design. It'd be awesome to see an updated version of the episode 1 Maul there. So that'll just about do it for this one, guys. A bit of a longer video than usual, but we did get through it all. Let me know if there's any shelves that stand out to you guys, any displays that you like the way it all looks. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.